I'm fine.
Let's go.
Andrew McCART, IFL TV. Delighted to be joined by Mr. Sam Jones very, very early on a Sunday morning. I've not even had my coffee yet, Sam, but listen, I think there's a lot to talk about. There's a lot that's happened in the last few days. We will talk about the Josh Taylor, Jack Catterall thing, but I do want to go into that, obviously, for obvious reasons.
Your mate.
My
Your
mate Josh.
mate. Your mate, Josh.
My mate Josh. Listen, but I want to, straight off the bat, let's just talk about, because it happened a few hours ago. Devin Haney, Regis Prograde, Jack Catterall was out there. But did you expect that result from Devin Haney last night?
Yeah, I didn't expect it to be as easy as that, but styles make fights, Andy. And I know people are gonna go, oh no, he's gonna say that, but that's the reason why we were shouting from the rooftops to get the fight for Jack, because I believe Jack would have the same outcome. I'm not saying it. It's a hard one because it's like people will jump down your throat straight. But I genuinely believe that Jack had the beating, or has the beating of Regis Prograis as well. But Devin Haney was outstanding. No one can take that away from me. He was absolutely bless you. He was outstanding. So fair play to Devin Haney. I mean, I'm not sure what his contractual situation is now. I think Eddie might have matching rights on him, but Eddie, he's kind of free to do what he wants now, Devin Haney. That's what I was saying to Eddie. I said, Eddie, Devin Haney's going to get the fight. He's going to come in. He's going to take the belt away from Matchroom, and then it is what it is. But look, I think Eddie will look to get involved in the Ryan Garcia fight, but I'm not so sure Ryan Garcia. I know Ryan Garcia says he will, but he's already said he's fighting in February or something. So that takes it towards the end of the year. So you can say you want to fight, but I genuinely don't believe that Ryan Garcia will fight Devin Haney, especially after that performance.
But the thing with Ryan Garcia, he said he wants to fight, and obviously both fighters with DAZN. It does make a lot of sense, and I think DAZN might push it because.
Yeah, but this is what I mean. Haney is not with DAZN. Haney's a free agent. Haney, I know they've got matching rights on him, but that if he gets offered the Gervonta Davis fight, he's going to go over there, isn't he?
Yeah, well, true. But I think again with sort of like the Devin Haney, he had, like you said, he's got options now. He does have these options, whether it be the Ryan Garcias, the Tank Davises.
Sure, and listen, rightfully so. I think, Devin Haney's like, I'm not saying he's had it easy, because he hasn't. Look, he's had to go, but he beat Kambosos. Kambosos for me is a very good fighter. No, take nothing away from there, but he's not an elite fighter. He won all the belts off him. Had to beat him twice. In my opinion, he lost to Lomachenko. Well, it was close, but I had Lomachenko winning that fight, and he's been handed straight away a world title shot at Regis Prograis. And I'm not saying like Regis, because Regis Prograis is a world-class fighter, proven world-class fighter. So I just think, listen, but Devin's now, listen, fair play to Devin and his dad. They've both done a tremendous job, and tip my hat to him. He's a fantastic fighter, Devin Haney, and looking forward to it. It's hard for me to say, because Jack will fight him, because I'd put Jack in with him with no problem, but then people are going to go, oh, he doesn't deserve that. So you can't really win in that situation. So I'm sure we'll move on to Jack in a minute. But no, great performance from Devin. I'm gutted for Regis, because I like Regis Prograis, get on with him really well. But yeah, I'm sure Regis will be back.
Definitely. And listen, Devin Haney's young and fresh, and well, he's had more fights than Regis, but Regis 34. Do you know what I mean? Devin's 25. He's probably in the prime of his life right now. He's moving up the weights. 140 suited him perfectly last night. You seen how strong he looked on the scales.
Yeah, he did. He did look strong. The
140-pound division has always been a good division without Devin Haney. Now Devin Haney's came into it, when you've got Mateus, you've got Jack, you've got Ryan Garcia, you've got all these top fighters. Richard Hitchens as well. I think he's a
your mate even called Devin Haney out last night. So he's after his third time of saying he's going to 147, he's on about coming.
I don't think he'll listen. I will come on to that, because Devin Haney said that he will probably move to 147, and I think they'll do it. But listen, there's no title on the line for that fight, so Does it make sense? I don't know. But let's cut the bullshit. Let's just go straight into it then. Let's talk about my mate Josh Taylor, as you keep saying. He is my mate. He's one of my good mates. Yeah, let's talk about the back and forth with Jack Catterall, the low ball offer, if you want to call it, which was 80% less than what he's had before. This
Andy,
is
yeah.
Josh's word.
Before we go any further, Andy, we go any further, because I know you might tell Josh different things, but what do I say about Josh off camera?
You think he's a great fighter? Yeah,
I'm only ever complimentary. Because before the listen, he's dug me out a lot of times on Twitter, Josh. Lots and lots of times on his honeymoon, when he's on his swinging in his cabana, when he's 14 Coronas deep, he's laying into me. No problems. I'll take that. I'll take that. I was only annoyed at his reaction to the Jack fight, and that's obviously. Listen, we are where we are. Josh has to be realistic of where he is in his career. He has to be realistic. He lost to Jack. Okay, he got the win. He got beat up by Lopez. This is just a fact. In a not full Hulu theatre. That's just a fact. When he beat Ramirez, no TV broadcaster picked it up in the UK. That's a fact. He's got to be realistic where he is. And I know this is hard for you to listen to, Andy, because he's your mate, but this is just reality. He's a great fighter. One of the all-time greats from Britain. He's an undisputed champion. Never really got his flowers for that. So people should give him his flowers for that. But he lost to Jack Catterall, and the fans want to see the fight. There's no getting away with it. There's no calling out Devin Haney. There's no fighting. No disrespect to the guy, because I have no clue who he is, and I'd like to think of my knowledge is pretty decent. Steve Claggett, whoever he's in negotiations to fight. Yeah, nobody wants to see that. You're getting called out by Florian Marku, but you're saying the money's not enough to fight Florian Marku. Eddie's offering you a deal to fight Jack Catterall. The money's not enough to fight Jack Catterall. You have to be realistic where you are. You bring no belts to the table. You're not a big draw. You're a former undisputed champion, and you should be respected as an undisputed champion. And Eddie should pay you adequately. But don't outprice yourself for a big fight that everybody wants to see, that will sell an arena out. That's what I'm saying to you, Josh. That's all I'm saying. So I'm sure I'll get some horrific tweets after this, but that's just facts. What I'm saying. I'm not spouting any nonsense. Be realistic. I spoke to his lawyer yesterday. Be realistic. That's all I'm saying. And the fight will happen. If not, they both move on. Josh can live with the fact that everyone's going to say he robbed Jack for the rest of his life. And Jack's going to walk down the street for the rest of his life and say, you got robbed against Josh Taylor. It's annoying for both. Let's settle it, and then they can go their separate ways. But if not, Jack's going to go his separate ways. We'll know in a week who Jack's going to fight in late February, very early March. So I hope it's against Josh Taylor, because I think it's a fantastic fight for Britain. I think it's what everybody wants to see. You want to see, Andy. I want to see it. In Britain, we need the best domestic fights. Domestic fights sell. They always have done over the years, and it's what British fans come out to see. They want to see it. They like grudge matches. They don't like each other. It'll be a fantastic build-up. And look, the pressure's on Eddie to make the fight.
Well, we'll say about the no media covering Josh's undisputed title. That was very disrespectful from the British media. I will say that, and that's just me being a biased jock. And I just
go back and look. I thought it was absolutely disgraceful how no one picked it up. But I'm just saying facts. So before, I know you're going to clickbait me, and I know Josh was this dickhead, but they're facts. They're facts. Nobody picked it up, and they should have done, because it was during COVID. I was so bored in COVID, I was watching Emmerdale Farm. So
you let alone that anyway, Sam. So don't give me a bullshit.
I don't. But that's how bored I was in COVID. So we were desperate for content, and no one picked it up. But that's just the reality. So it is what. So when he says, "Oh, he never sold out Liverpool against Linares," that's always going to be like it's always. You need dance partners to sell fights. You need dance partners to sell fights, and that's what it's always going to be. It's like Conor Benn against Eubank. Eubank Jr.'s not got a huge fan base, nor's really Conor Benn, but it sells because of the rivalry of the dance partners. Conor Benn's a big draw, but it doesn't mean he's got a huge fan base. Chris Eubank's a big draw, doesn't mean he's got a huge fan base. And you need dance partners in British boxing, and unfortunately for your mate, his dance partner is Jack Catterall.
Listen, I know. Listen, before we talk about that, you mentioned there that you spoke to Josh's lawyer. Now, how are they
Yeah.
conversations? Were they fruitful? What was said in that? It
Yeah,
doesn't.
Tom Grant. I've spoke to him before. I've spoke to him a few times. His name's Tom, and I've had a little chat with him yesterday, and they seem half game to make the fight. But again, like what I said to Tom, in a very respectful way, you must be realistic with the money. You must be realistic. That doesn't mean take a flipping to take it a ridiculous low amount. It just means be sensible. You're not an undisputed champion, and the draw is the fight, not you. You understand? You have to. I know it's hard to say that, because former undisputed champion, like what I've just said a minute ago. I mean, going back to Josh's not getting his flowers, Josh should have had a homecoming, a proper homecoming. I know he's a Hibernian fan. He should have boxed at that stadium years ago, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. I think somebody should have got behind him as a promoter and really looked after him in that way, which I don't think he has been. I think he's been. I think he's had a bit of a disservice in his career, Josh. On that's just my opinion, whether you agree with it or not.
No, I
So
agree.
again,
I think guys had a disservice, to be honest.
compliments to Josh. That's me being. I don't. It's not just a biased opinion towards Jack. I think Jack beat him up, but Josh has never really got the credit he deserves for being an undisputed champion. However, we are where we are. His biggest fight is Jack Catterall. Jack Catterall's biggest fight is Josh Taylor. The card's on the table. Let's not talk bollocks. Let's talk the truth. They need to make it happen. I've said to Eddie, this is what we need to make the fight. That's not agreed, all done. Over to Josh. Be sensible.
Would you come back with Eddie and yourself talk about coming back with a second offer? Would Eddie make a second offer to Josh?
Yeah, look, I believe. Yeah, I believe that's what the plans. I think they're in talks now. But let's see if it gets done. I mean, look, it's over to Josh. If the only reason why this fight doesn't happen is because of Josh Taylor.
How confident are you, though, Sam, about this fight getting made?
About 20%.
That's not good.
You got to want the fight. You got to want the fight. And I just sometimes in boxing you have a boogeyman. A fighter has a boogeyman, and I believe that's Josh's. But Josh believes. I'm sure if Josh was on a lie detector test now and they said, "Do you think you'll beat Jack Catterall?" He will pass with flying colours. Let's get it on. Let's settle it once and for all.
Catch weight 147.
Yeah, we'll do a catch weight of the fight. No problems. We'll do a catch. It's only going to benefit Jack anyway.
Well, listen, the fight obviously needs to be made. I think I know Josh, and I know Josh has said to me privately that he wants to fight Jack. You know what I mean? And I think that I think we all need to see it. I think as boxing fans, boxing media.
Andy, you know it, mate. You know you're a big Josh Taylor guy, and listen, me and you have our relationship. I think we get on pretty well. I'm never ever. I know he might say this and go, "Oh, that's Sam Preck," but I'm always complimentary to you and to everyone else about Josh. He's a great fighter, proper all-time great of British boxing. He really is. But the fact is, Josh Taylor logs onto Twitter, right, and he just gets terrorized. Jack Catterall, mate, put it right. If you just put it right, because you don't want your legacy, your very good legacy, to be stained. That's all I'm saying.
You said this. You said stadium fight. Could this fight sell an arena fight? No, arena. Did you say arena fight?
It's an arena fight. I think it's an arena fight, especially in February, March. But it sells out Manchester, in my opinion. It sells out the Hydro for sure. Oh, I like the thumbs up. Do you see that?
How did it do that?
I don't know. I think that it just liked it. I don't know. It just liked it. But no, it's an arena. It's an arena fight. I'm not saying it's as big as a Eubank Ben. It's not. But it's definitely bigger than Wood Warrington, in my opinion. And that fight's now not got a belt on the line. That's just my opinion. It's a proper... Listen, you know yourself, Andrew, like during builds up and like... David A would tell me years ago when he boxed Audley Harrison. Yeah, I'm bringing that fight up. But David A said they were texting each other during the... Jack and Josh aren't going to be texting. They do not like each other. And you know this, Andrew. If they see each other in the room, they're going... He'd probably go for me. Never mind Jack. And then that's the way this fight is. It's a proper, genuine beef. And you've got to settle fights like this. You've got to settle fights because if the fight doesn't happen next, the fight will never happen. That's my honest opinion. If the fight doesn't happen next, it will never happen.
If the fans demand it, you don't think that if the fans demand it could happen, even if it doesn't happen next?
I'm not so sure because the fight's got to happen now. And listen, Andrew, and this is another thing with Josh. He does contradict himself a little bit because he says that he lost to Jack, yeah, or he beat Jack, whatever. I'm going up to 147. That's me done. Great. Fight happened. The rematch got made with Jack and Josh. Josh said he hurt his ankle. I'm sure he did. Got out of the fight. Went to box Teofimo Lopez with 2,500 people at the Hulu Theatre. Got beat up. I'm going up to 147. And now he's calling out Devin Haney, who's just won the 140-pound title. Come on, Josh. Come on, let's get real. Your biggest fight is Jack Catterall. His biggest fight is you. Let's get it on. If not, no problem. We'll know within a week. We walk on, and I never want to hear about the fight ever again.
I think I want to see the fight. So
everybody does, Andrew. Everybody does. I'm an irrelevant man, right? And I get stopped. Me. This is irrelevant. Me. When's this fight? When are you gonna make this fight? We've said to Eddie, make the fight. Make the fight. It's over to them. We've agreed our side. Yeah, we've agreed our side. Go and agree your side. Just be sensible. Don't price yourself out of fights.
Again, the second offer, that's something that Eddie's talked to you about, and that's what you've talked about putting in.
He said it online, didn't he? He said it on numerous interviews. He said he's going to go back in there with he's going to sharpen his pencil, and he's going to go back in there and offer another fight. But you've got to be sensible. You're not a champion anymore.
What's again? You said the fight doesn't happen if it doesn't happen now. So what are the options for Jack?
Jose Ramirez, we'd love that fight. I mean, listen, everyone keeps saying, "Oh, Jack's been ordered to fight Richardson Hitchens." We're not ducking that fight. If that fight makes sense, and I will speak to Eddie about it. We've got no problem with Jack's got. Listen, Jack will fight anybody. Jack will fight absolutely anywhere. There's Arnold Barboza, the WBO #1. We'll fight him, no problem. There's loads of good fights for Jack.
Well, but does he want a world title, Jack? Does he need the world title at this stage?
Of course, Jack wants to win a world, but wants to become world champion. The only reason why we're talking about this Taylor fight, everyone's like, "Oh, he's chased," because it's a big fight. I'm not saying it's the scale of Ben Eubank, but that fight's not going to have a world title on the line. Rod Warrington, that's not going to have a world title on the line. Belts, listen, belts are very important, but in some instances, some fights are bigger than belts.
I agree. Do you think this one would be in a neutral venue like London, or do you think...
Not bothered, Andy. Wherever makes business sense for this fight to take place, we'll do. I personally believe the fight should be in Manchester. Jack came to Scotland last time, and it's Jack's promoter making the offers. It's not the other way around. Feel free to make us an offer. Do you know what I mean? Feel free to make us. If you feel you're being lowballed, make us an offer. But I believe the fight should be in Manchester. But we're sensible. I'm not hard to work with, Andrew. Wherever makes the best business sense, we will make the fight. Easy to work with. Very easy to work with. And you're smiling, but it's true.
But look, I'm smiling because I know I know you, Sam, and I know like you're just an easy, like even when you're just not talking boxing, you're just an easy go happy guy. You know what I mean? You're just up for the laugh and stuff like that. So I can imagine you're easy to work with. And something
there's no egos around here, Andy. Wherever makes the best business sense, we will do the fight. But I believe the fight should take place in Manchester. But does that mean we're going to go, "Oh no, it can't be"? Yes, can't be, or a neutral venue?
Maybe the Saudis will pick it up. Maybe you'll fly out to there. Who knows?
I don't listen. Would be game for that. But I think, like I say, the British boxing fans are losing big fights, right? Some of it, because you can't. The Saudis are good for boxing, in my opinion, because they're making the biggest fight happen. But in fights like this, I genuinely believe should be happening in Britain for the British boxing fans.
And if you had a message for Josh, if Josh was like on the Zoom call right now, what would you say to him?
Add him on. I'll do an interview with Josh. No problem. I'll have a chat with him. I respect Josh Taylor as a fighter. I just think he went about his business the wrong way when the fight after the fight, which is the reason why the fans turn on him, undeniably turn on him. But you can't tell me I'm not respectful of what he's achieved. I rate Josh incredibly highly, but he needs to cut the bullshit and just get real, and we'll get the rematch on. But if not, and he says, I don't want to fight Jack Catterall, and you're honest, no problem. Good luck with the rest of your career, mate.
Again, we need to see the fight. I think that for me personally, and you, Jack, and Josh, and everybody around the teams, I think we need.
What you should do, Andrew, is this: get me, Tom Grant, and Josh and Jack on the same interview, and we'll have it out. We'll speak, and we'll see who's bullshitting and who's not.
No, I might actually do that. I might see if
even though you're impartial, you're Team Josh, but we'll do that, no problem.
I'll see if we can sort that out. That's an interesting thing.
No problem.
Well, I'll just be the middleman, just sitting in the corner. I'll be like Eddie at that press conference with Haney and Prograde, just sit there and just enjoy it. Won't need to say a word.
I just think. I know this is rich coming from me, but less talking, more signing. That's it. Let's get the fight on.
Listen, Sam, I don't think there's much else to talk about. Like, obviously, you mentioned the options there for Jack, and obviously the Josh Taylor fight is the one you want. We spoke about Haney Prograde.
And don't clickbait me as well to get Josh DMing me at 3 o'clock in the morning of abuse. Don't you click the nice parts.
Man, I'm not clicking no nice parts. I'll put that in I'll put that in my reel. I'll put the nice parts in the reel, but the title's going to be a little bit of a clickbait. Come on, you know me.
Sure.
You know me. It's going to be something like, Josh, where's your pen? I don't know. I'll find something. I'll go back and watch it and read something. But Sam, listen, I want to talk about the heavyweight in Saudi Arabia stuff with you the other day there, when just to talk about that. But I think that we'll talk about that at a later date when the time comes closer. But we've got Sonny Edwards next week, so I know you
can't wait for that.
Edwards, so I
can't wait for that.
Bam Rodriguez, so no doubt I'll talk to you about that. But listen, I know you've your missus and your kids are out just now, and you're probably waiting for them to come home and just tear your house up again. So, is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, mate. I'm just gearing up for next year. Some really exciting prospects. Who's going to be some big news for Mark Dickinson coming. Cameron Vong's going to be out again in February in his first 8-rounder. We're looking at some good opponents for Cameron. So yeah, looking forward to it. Dan Toward's boxing next week. Are you there next week?
No, I'm with Saudi on Sunday.
I help get you that gig. I want 10%.
10%. That's the manager in you, man.
I want 10%. I want 10% of that, Andy.
You don't know how much 10% is for me. That's a lot of money for me.
You're a rich man. I see the watches you wear, Andy. You've got a collection. You've got a bigger watch collection than Floyd Mayweather. You have.
Not as big as you though, Sam. I seen your watch. I seen your watch in Bolton, son.
I've got Casios, mate.
Aye, okay. Listen, Sam, absolute pleasure to speak to you, mate. And listen, fingers crossed that you keep working hard, you, Eddie, Tom, and Josh, and Jack, and get this fight made. I think we all want to see it. And fingers crossed we hear news in the next couple of weeks, or if not, the next week.
You give him my best when you speak to him, Andy.
Of course I will, Sam, of course.
Take care, Andy.
Good day. Cheers,
See you later, mate. Bye-bye.
Bye.
I'm fine.